What is up, YouTube? Eric here, Mr. Fired Up Wealth, bringing you some really big news on Crowdstrike. Now, if you followed the channel for any time at all, you know I've been a bull on Crowdstrike since the very beginning back in 2019. I actually did a demo of Crowdstrike Falcon, their platform, their endpoint security platform. I did a demo on this channel June of 2020. Now, how many channels are doing demos of Crowdstrike, let alone a stock market focused channel? So I'm bringing you hardcore due diligence on these stocks, trying to get them to you before the masses. Of course, everybody on YouTube's talking about Crowdstrike now. Nobody was talking about Crowdstrike when we first started talking about Crowdstrike, just like Palantir and many others. So if you're new to the channel, definitely subscribe. You're not going to want to miss what's coming. We're just getting started, guys. Now, what we're going to do today is we're going to give some updates on Crowdstrike's business. Not only are they going to be entered into the NASDAQ-100, which is absolutely huge for their business, I actually have some other positive news as well. So I'm going to give you really an update of what's going on with Crowdstrike, where I think the stock's going to go from here. So this video right here, guys, is going to give you everything you need to know about Crowdstrike and where the stock is headed from here. You're definitely going to want to watch this video in its entirety. Without further ado, let's get started. All right, guys, quick overview of Crowdstrike's business, what they're all about. Now, if you follow the channel at all, you've heard of this stock well before $100. You probably have bought the stock. It was a Discord buy under 100. It was a Discord buy again around $120. It's been a buy multiple times and it keeps climbing higher and higher. Now it's above $250 a share. So if you got into this stock when we started covering it on Fired Up Wealth, you're doing very well. You're probably interested in what the business is doing and what the prospects are for the stock moving forward. I'll tell you right up front, I'm still very bullish on the stock. Let's go through this and explain why. Now, I just did a top 10 cloud stock video. Now, if you haven't seen that, definitely check it out. There's an entire playlist on Fired Up Wealth that covers cloud stocks, right? So we cover software as a service and cloud. It's really my specialty. I used to work in the SaaS industry. I used to work for Oracle, and then I actually worked for a couple partners, but I've worked in on-prem software sales, infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service. So this is my background. You think of category defining cloud platforms, Salesforce is CRM, right? Customer relationship management. Started back in 1999 and they're still crushing it now. ServiceNow, service management cloud, HR cloud, Workday. There's a lot of ties to Oracle if you look at these older companies, and you've probably heard me say that before in the channel. A lot of Oracle ties go to these companies that created these cloud companies. Crowdstrike started in 2011. They really want to be that endpoint and really just that entire security cloud platform. They're trying to be best of breed like these others were before them. So they are the first cloud native SaaS endpoint security platform. Annual recurring revenue is about $1.2 billion, 93% subscription revenue. That's great because we want recurring revenue as investors. They have 11,420 subscription customers, and that's growing all the time. Their ARR, year-over-year growth, ARR, that's annual recurring revenue, 74%, 73% subscription revenue, and 64% subscription customers with at least 4 modules. They continue to grow more modules, and they're getting into other sectors outside of endpoint security as well. Now, if you watch the video on the channel that actually does a demo of Falcon, you've seen this before, but essentially what we're doing is we're taking endpoint security, cloud security, managed services, all these things you see on your screen, log management, identity protection, and it's going through that Crowdstrike threat graph. And there's a lightweight agent, just meaning it doesn't take a lot of resources to install it into a machine. And it really covers everything from workstations to servers, virtual machines, containers, cloud, mobile, Internet of Things. It covers everything for your organization. Now, SentinelOne is another one I've covered on the channel. I did a video that compares Crowdstrike to SentinelOne. Like I said, I've done probably 8 or 9 different videos on Crowdstrike. Check out the channel if you want deeper dives on some of this stuff. But when you think of both of those, SentinelOne and Crowdstrike, both of them brag about cloud scale AI, artificial intelligence. So AI technology gets smarter as it consumes more data, which is very, very powerful. So this is as of April 30th, 2021, and this talks about their customer base. They have 61, this is Crowdstrike, they have 61 of the Fortune 100. That's pretty impressive. 214 of the Fortune 500 and 13 of the top 20 banks. You can see the growth is amazing, 82% year-over-year growth for their customer base. Back in 2017, they had 450 customers, now over 11,420 customers. So when you think of their TAM, it's quite large. You can see on your screen here, If you look at the total addressable market by 2023, they say it's at $43.6 billion. When you think of the growth trend itself, cloud IT spend, look at the difference between 2020 and 2023. We're talking $106.4 billion to $217.7 billion. Cloud security spend, you got worldwide hybrid cloud security revenues estimate goes from $1.2 billion in 2020 to $2.0 billion in 2023. Now, a lot of you are looking at this and you're looking at the market cap saying, wait a minute, this doesn't really add up. But here's what helps explain that. So long-term TAM, total addressable market evolution. They're saying that their potential TAM with their new offerings as they expand new modules and get outside of just endpoint security is going to be $106 billion over the next 4 years. They have an expanding ecosystem, which is really helpful. They've got this CrowdStrike store, which I've covered as well on different videos, but essentially APIs and custom services that allows you to plug into other applications. So this is their growth of ARR. This is annual recurring revenue. You can see this is in millions. So in 2018, 71 million, all the way to $1.2 billion, 74% ARR year-over-year growth. Revenue growth also very strong. So this is something we talk about on the channel a lot. It's really important. Dollar-based retention rates for subscription ARR. And you can see they've had some fluctuations, but very strong still at 125%. The benchmark is 120%. So this is really going to show the power of the platform. This is percentage of subscription customers with multiple cloud module subscriptions. So 50% of their customers have 5 or more modules, and 27% of their customers have 6 or more modules. When you look at 4 or more, it's gone all the way to 64%. So they're expanding that footprint within each customer base. If you're following magic number 1.4, rule of 40, over 80%. Improving gross margins. So last slide here, and then I'm going to go into what this means and actually announce a couple of awards. So I'm going to cover a couple of awards they've won. Also talk about the NASDAQ-100 inclusion and what that means for CrowdStrike. Now this real quick here, improved operating leverage. You can see that their operating leverage has improved. So this business is improving in terms of profitability, in terms of growth, in terms of expansion. They're doing everything right. It has a strong management team. Very excited about their future. Stay tuned. Let's go through a couple of recent awards that CrowdStrike's received. So news headline right here, Business Wire, August 23rd, 2021. CrowdStrike named a leader in IDC MarketScape U.S. Managed Detection and Response Services. Now, I'm not going to read this entire thing to you, but this quote is important. As modern day cybersecurity threats become more evolved and nuanced, security teams need to go above and beyond their legacy antivirus solutions to have a fighting chance at defending their business against potential breaches. We created Falcon Complete to combine the best-in-class people, processes, and technology in the industry, providing an unparalleled holistic approach to MDR. This recognition is a testament to the success of our Falcon Complete offering and CrowdStrike's unwavering ability and dedication to protect its customers around the clock, said Sean Henry, president of CrowdStrike Services and chief security officer at CrowdStrike. Some other recent awards here, guys, some recognitions. Ranked number 1 for Modern Endpoint Security 2020 Revenue Market Share in IDC's World Corporate Endpoint Security Market Shares 2020 report. That is a mouthful, and I did it on the first try. No editing there. Named a leader in the 2021 Gartner Magic Quadrant. You can see on your screen, I'll put it up here. You can see Microsoft is kind of hanging out next to them there. The thing about Microsoft, though, is they're such a big company. They have their hands in so many pots. If you want to play just endpoint security, CrowdStrike is really the best way, the best of breed way to play it and just play that space. Now, SentinelOne's also kind of a threat and it's moving up, but it's so expensive right now. It's hard for me to, to buy shares of SentinelOne. But we're focused on CrowdStrike right now. I think both of those companies, though, can do well. If you want to see more thoughts on that, I actually have a video that compares CrowdStrike to SentinelOne on the channel. Definitely take a look at that. It's about 30 minutes. It goes into deep dive on both of those companies. Received the highest score for lean forward organizations in the 2021 Gartner Critical Capabilities for Endpoint Protection Platforms report. Named a leader in endpoint security software as a service at the Forrester Wave 2021 Q2 report, receiving the highest scores possible within the 17 criteria. Very impressive stuff all around. Let's talk about what it means to be included in the NASDAQ-100. So if you're following me on Twitter, you saw this morning, I actually tweeted this. If you don't follow me on Twitter, go follow @FiredUpWealth. You can see the handle right here, @FiredUpWealth. But this morning I did tweet it out. CrowdStrike will become a component of the NASDAQ-100 Index, the NASDAQ-100 Equal Weighted Index, and the NASDAQ-100 Technology Index before the market opens on August 26th to replace Maxim Integrated Products. So when you think of the NASDAQ-100 Index, you're talking really about the Invesco QQQ. And CrowdStrike's going to be in all three of those indexes, but really I just want to focus right now on the NASDAQ 100. So when you think of the QQQ, you say, well, how is this constructed? So the index is constructed on a modified capitalization methodology. Trading the NASDAQ 100 index is traded through the Invesco QQQ Trust. This product is designed to track the performance of the 100 largest companies of the NASDAQ exchange. Each company in the trust must be a member of the NASDAQ 100 and be listed on the broader exchange for at least 2 years. So literally, they just did their IPO in 2019. They just hit the 2-year anniversary mark, and they've already been included in the NASDAQ QQQ. That is really, really impressive stuff. Again, they literally just did their IPO in 2019. 2 years later, they're in the QQQ. So composition of the NASDAQ 100, you probably already know this, but it's composed of assets in various sectors, excluding financial services. So I think most of you probably already know what's in QQQ, but it's a lot of that large, that mega cap tech stock. So Apple, Microsoft, Amazon. Apple is 11% of QQQ, Microsoft's 9.8%, Amazon 8.3%. And you can see on your screen, these companies really make up the majority of QQQ. If you look at it, information technology, 48.8%, communication services, it has consumer discretionary. A lot of people probably don't realize that. Healthcare, consumer staples, and even industrials and utilities, but it's only 2.6%. When you think of consumer discretionary, Amazon's a big chunk of that, Tesla, but there's Starbucks in here, there's Melly in here, JD, eBay, Lululemon, Marriott. Consumer staples, it has Pepsi, Costco, Mondelez, Kraft Heinz, Monster Beverage, Walgreens. But the point is that there are other stocks in here outside of technology. But let's face it, guys, it's mega cap tech is really what we're looking at with Invesco QQQ. So what does this really do for CrowdStrike? I mean, essentially, it helps give validity to the company. And there's going to be some pull through on the stock price because a lot of people just invest in QQQ. So naturally, the QQQ, when you're buying the ETF, they have to buy the underlying assets. So they're buying all these stocks every time you dollar cost average into QQQ. So really, it's just going to help CrowdStrike climb even higher. If you look at like what Tesla did when it was entered in the S&P 500, it rallied from there. I'm not suggesting it's necessarily going to do that, but it is up 8% as I speak at $265. And this is a very positive thing for CrowdStrike investors. So QQQ is not actively managed, but it is an index that does have rotation. So if you owned it long term, if you're going to own it for 20 years, that index is constantly changing and doing some of that work for you. So this is the company that CrowdStrike is replacing in the NASDAQ 100. This is Maxim Integrated Products, MXIM. You can see that it's a medium cap according to Fidelity, $28.64 billion market cap. Now, CrowdStrike is trading right now, and it's actually up pre-market, so it was up over 5% pre-market. It's up over $250 a share right now in pre-market. But based on $245.80, the market cap is a large cap at $55.5 billion. Stay tuned. I'm going to give you my final thoughts about the stock. You're definitely going to want to hear it. Okay, I'm going to give you my final thoughts, my closing thoughts on CrowdStrike. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please hit the subscribe button, click the little bell to get notifications. Also, I make new videos every Tuesday and Thursday. If these videos are helpful, please do me a favor, return the favor, drop me a like and drop me a comment. It helps me out very much and I appreciate it very, very much. So my final thoughts on CrowdStrike, obviously I'm still long, I'm still very bullish on the stock. Now with that said, it's trading at 56 or 57 price to sales, not price to earnings, price to sales. So this is a nosebleed, high flyer stock. A value investor would cringe and not want to touch this with a 300-foot pole, okay? Now, with that said, it has an amazing growth trajectory. It's a high-quality company. I have a lot of conviction in the management and just the company overall. In fact, it was on my top 25 high-conviction stock pick list. If you have not seen that, you can do that by joining Patreon. Any tier will get you in, and you can see a 30-minute video. That chart you're seeing above me on the screen there, it literally goes through that. There's 29 total stock picks, and it breaks down each stock granularly by management, moat, leadership, risk score, things like that. And I talk about each stock. So there's 29 stocks that I own that I discussed in that video, and CrowdStrike was one of those. CrowdStrike was also my #1 cloud stock in my recent cloud stock videos. Now, the whole title of that video series was Top Cloud Stocks to Buy on the Next Dip. And we did have a recent dip that would have given you an opportunity to maybe dip your toe. I always like the dollar cost average. So the problem with CrowdStrike, buying it over $250, you're buying it at all-time high ranges. It can be very, very hard, especially when a stock is this expensive. expensive. If you get any kind of taper tantrum, the price is going to crash. These high flyers, they run hard, they fall hard. So you have to be really, really careful. I would love this stock much more under $200, but whether or not it's going to get there, it's very hard. So I'm definitely not making this video to tell you to run out and buy CrowdStrike today at $250. I think long term, it's going to be a winner, but definitely be tactical, be strategic on how you're entering and how you're getting that cost basis by dollar cost averaging. So I like the stock. I like the company. I like the prospects. I appreciate your time and attention. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care.